humanitarian aspects. Then we have a couple of things, business as usual, which is the continuation of Italian ministers presenting the programs in their particular field to the respective committees of Parliament. And you might be interested to know that, for instance, Mrs. Federica Mogherini, who has been nominated as the High Representative last Saturday, is scheduled to be in the Foreign Affairs Committee as well, as one of the Italian current ministers. What we also have on the agenda for this week is in the Economic Affairs Committee, but that's quite late in the afternoon, on Thursday afternoon, is the Dutch Finance Minister Jeroen Dijsselbloem. Note the pronunciation of this name, Jeroen Dijsselbloem, to talk about the economic dialogue, which is basically business as usual. I already mentioned the Agricultural Committee, which will talk about the measures proposed by the Commission to alleviate problems for the agriculture sector in the EU as a result of the import ban by Russia on agricultural products. And the general state of the EU-Russia trade relations will be up for a discussion and a review in the International Trade Committee. I will just mention one more item, which is also a topical item, one of the items of this eventful summer, and that is the outbreak, the unprecedented outbreak of Ebola in Western Africa. And there's going to be an exchange of views with the Commissioner Tonio Borg in the Environment Committee, and that will take place on Wednesday afternoon. Vasek will say a bit more about all these foreign affairs committees. There's one thing that I would like to mention still, and that is more of a logistic, but that might be of interest, particular to newcomers in Brussels, new correspondents, and that is that the press unit will give a kind of seminar, just short, Friday morning, and you will be able to take in the pre-session briefing with the political groups there as well. Also on the 12th of September 2014, starting at 9:30. And please, if you're interested, send your applications to Ms. Charlotte Wetter, but we'll send out a tweet as well so that you can follow that. So bear in mind a short introduction to what Parliament is and what it can offer to correspondents. Sorry, on Friday morning, the 12th of September. Contact Ms. Wetter or Ms. Beckerhoff. Vasek, about all these foreign affairs topics that we have on this week.
Thank you, Ori, and good morning, and welcome back after, I hope for most of you, a rested summer. Foreign Affairs Committee, together with other committees dealing with external relations in the Parliament, will be, of course, quite busy as from the beginning of this week, with all the crises happening in the neighborhood and elsewhere around the world. The first debate was already mentioned by Jori. This will be a debate with the still Italian Foreign Minister Federica Mogherini. I hope that my pronunciation is more or less correct. And this will be on Tuesday morning, starting at 9. Ms. Mogherini will present the priorities of the Italian presidency. She will also debrief MEPs on the Gymnich meeting, on the meeting of informal meeting of the foreign ministers that happened in Milan on Friday and Saturday. You might have seen that Mr. Brok, chair of Foreign Affairs Committee, took part at that meeting as well, following the enlarged bureau of the Foreign Affairs Committee that happened on Thursday last week. Still on Tuesday, after the debate with Ms. Mogherini, we will have a debate in Foreign Affairs Committee on crisis in Ukraine, Iraq, Syria, Gaza and Libya, with namely participation of the head of OECE monitoring mission to Ukraine, Ambassador Apakan. So this happens on Tuesday morning. Still on Ukraine in relation with Russia, Jori already mentioned that International Trade Committee will look into the state of play of EU-Russia trade relations. This will be in the framework of a bigger joint debate that will also deal with the talks on the association agreements with Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. So this happens on Wednesday afternoon, starting at 3 o'clock. You might want to know that European Parliament, via the chairs of the relevant committees, Mr. Brok and Mr. Lange, but also mentioned by President Schulz at Saturday's summit, promised to go as quickly as possible with the ratification, with the approval of those association agreements with Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine. What else do we have? Commissioner Georgieva will be in Development Committee on Wednesday afternoon to speak about the difficulties of the humanitarian aid in the light of many crises we have been witnessing lately, not only in the neighborhood but also in Africa. You already mentioned Ebola. South Sudan, for instance, or situation in Gaza will be, of course, mentioned by Commissioner Georgieva during that debate. And finally, I would mention two sets of questions relating to delegations. First, European Parliament delegations bureaus will start to be elected as of Thursday this week. The 4 first delegations to ACP, EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly, Eurolat, Euronest, and NATO Parliamentary Assemblies will be elected on Thursday morning. Still with delegations, but this time the EU delegations in the world. MEPs will meet on Tuesday afternoon with the annual conference of the EU ambassadors, EU heads of delegations. The meetings itself would be held in camera, but President Schulz will open the debate on Tuesday afternoon. That's all from me. Okay. At least, unless you have questions.
Okay, that was a bit of a view of what's happening this week. Do you have any questions on this week or the weeks after? That does not seem to be the case, so I wish you all a very good working week.
What's your function?